All right. I had a visitor knock on my door. So that's why I had to cut the second part a little short. But I was in the middle of telling you, our goal is to take these matrices, break them all the way down so that there's a one, and a one, and a zero everywhere else. Now, in this math class, we're not going to break it down that far. But as you study in other math classes, that would be the goal, to break it all the way down so that this is a one, this is a one, and this is a one. And there's zeros everywhere else. But for right now, we're just going to do some basic row operations just to get a little bit of practice in, because today is our last section in matrices. So this symbol right here means to interchange row 1 with row 3. So this symbol here means to just switch them. You switch row 1 with row 3. So I'm using this augmented matrix right here. That's what I'm going to be using the whole time. So we're going to switch row 1 with row 3. So if I switch those two rows around, row 1 is now going to go in spot of row 3. So this is going to be 1, -2, 3, 7. Row 3 is now going to go in spot of row 1. So -3, 2, -2, and -10. And row 2, we did nothing with whatsoever. So that's going to be 2, 1, 1, 4. So this symbol here means to switch row 1 with row 3, or whatever designated rows they tell us to switch. So notice up here, it was 1, -2, 3, 7. We switched it to row 3. -3, 2, -2, -10 became row 1, and we did absolutely nothing with row 2, so it stayed where it was. So we switched row 1 with row 3. Part B. We're going to use the matrix that we now have. Don't start over. Use the matrix that you now have. And it says multiply row 3 by -4. So this is row 3. We're going to take all of these numbers and multiply by -4. So I'm doing nothing with row 1. I'm doing nothing with row 2. So this is going to be -3, 2, -2, -10. It's going to be 2, 1, 1, and 4. So I'm doing nothing at all with row 1 or 2. I'm only taking -4 and multiplying each number by -4. So -4 times 1, -4 times -2, -4 times 3, and -4 times 7. So that is part B. It says to multiply every number in row 3 by -4. And we'll do one more. Again, we're going to use the matrix we just finished working with. So we just finished working with part B. So I'm going to use these numbers to help us with part C. Part C says to do row 3 and subtract 4 times row 1 and put it in the spot of row 3. So I do these operations over here, and then I put my final answers in the spot of row 3. So I like to do some stuff off to the side just to make sure I'm good to go. So I'm going to get my row 3, and I'm just going to recopy it. -4, 8, -12, and -28. So that's row 3. I just recopied it, row 3. And I'm going to subtract out what I get when I do 4 times row 1. This is row 1. So I'm going to multiply each of those numbers by +4. I've already taken out the subtraction sign, so now I'm just multiplying by +4. So if I multiply this row by +4, it's going to give me 12, +4, +4, and +4. Now I'm going to subtract these two to get my final row. So -4 minus 12 is going to give me -16. 8 minus 8 gives us 0. -12 minus -8 gives us -4. And negative 28 minus negative 40 gives us 12. Now I take these numbers and I put them back into my matrix. So my final matrix, I have done nothing at all with row 1 or row 2. So I did nothing with row 1. I did nothing with row 2. So I just bring it down. So this is part B, just so you'll have that. So the only row that I'm changing is the last one. So this is the only row that needs to change, and it needs to change to this up here. So this is the previous matrix that I had. I just now need to change it to this. So my final answer would be this, this, and this. So none of these rows changed. And my last final row that did change, because we did row 3 minus 4 times row 1 and put it in the spot of row 3, is negative 16, 0, negative 4, 12. And that is our final answer.